what's up you guys? For those of you who don't know, my name is Jade and welcome back to another one of my YouTube videos. Today's video is a packing essentials and tips and tricks that you need to know for your first, second, third, maybe even fourth year of varsity if you haven't gotten the hang of it already. So without further ado, let's get on with the video. So I have a list of things with me today that I compiled with friends and you guys on Instagram. If you want to be involved in videos like this in the future, make sure you head down into the description below and follow me on Instagram. So the first part of this video is the essential packing list that you guys need for varsity. I remember when I was packing for what ended up to be 6 weeks of my first year away from home, I had no idea what I needed. I was obviously like, okay, clothes. Clothes is an essential. And everything else I was a bit like, lol, what the heck am I supposed to take? It's not like my whole room can fit into my suitcase. I have compiled the ultimate list. My first category is practical essentials. So those are toothpaste and any medication you need. Make sure you take prescriptions like 6 or 12 month, 6 or 12 month prescriptions from your doctor. Zooting around town and trying to find a new doctor when you're feeling sick or when you urgently need that prescription of your meds that you need Basically, you just need prescription. Take prescriptions. I thought that was a very good tip. My friend told me and yeah, it was awesome. The second thing I would highly recommend is Tupperwares. Any kind of plastic or glass or whatever. Just those clip-on Tupperwares, airtight ones. I was in a race that provided me with food, yet sometimes I would not be there for meals. So I would leave my Tupperware in the kitchen, they would put my serving of dinner in, and then I didn't have to worry about it. So I know a lot of people moving into res are like, no, I don't need Tupperwares, I don't need plates, bowls and mugs for myself because I'll get everything at res. But trust me, when you are doing something late at night or early in the morning and you skip breakfast or dinner or even lunch sometimes, you are going to want to have a Tupperware as well as your own plate, bowl, knife, fork, spoon and cup. If you want a cup of coffee at night and you can't go down to the cafeteria, just get yourself a little kettle, put it in your room, grab some coffee and yeah, there you go. Shebang, pow, sorted. So that was my next one, your own cutlery and crockery. The next practical thing is to bring a spare charger and if you can a spare phone. I know that when I was in Cape Town, so many of my friends in like the first or second week got their phones stolen. So I know you probably won't carry a spare phone. Just having one there will mean that when you get home you can immediately message friends and family and say, listen, this is what happened. A spare charger as well. I know that a few of my friends' chargers broke during their time there and then they had to rush around the middle of Cape Town trying to find an Apple or Android charger, which wasn't always ideal. They would come home from a long night out, plug in their phone and realize, oh hell, my phone charger isn't working. And along with the spare phone charger and phone, if you can, buy a power bank. I don't care if you have to go without alcohol on a Friday night to be able to afford this power bank. I cannot stress enough how many times I was like, oh no, my phone's on 1%, I'm in the middle of nowhere, I'm on a bus or in the middle of town. Oh wait, I have a power bank, woohoo, saved the day. Power banks are so essential nowadays, especially with iPhone batteries. Power banks, I cannot stress enough. If you guys can't afford a spare charger or a spare phone, please do yourself a favor and get yourself a power bank. The next few items are slightly bigger and may not apply to everyone, but I thought I should add them in here anyway, just in case you wanted to make one big purchase that would make your stay at varsity way more comfortable. So of these bigger purchases, I would say a fan is 100% necessary. If you are moving into a flat with no aircon and no fan, or mostly res rooms actually, you are going to need a fan. It gets hella hot in South Africa and let's just be honest, windows open don't always work. You need that extra like movement of the stagnant hot air in your room. So a fan or some kind of air cooler, 100% necessary. In this day and age, load shedding is unfortunately a thing. I electrical systems are not very reliable, and for that reason one of my Instagram followers actually brought this up. Thank you so much if you see this for contributing. A battery powered lantern is an awesome purchase if you are in South Africa. I bought one at Macro or Game for like 200 rand, and oh my goodness, it saved me so many times. I remember I came back from a club at 2 in the morning and there was no lights, and I carried around my little lantern around race. It's such a lifesaver. 10 out of 10. Would highly recommend. I would actually say that's also a necessity that you need to invest in. Friday night shots out the window, buy yourself a lantern that is battery powered. Now we move on to the things that are not as essential. So first of all, a vacuum cleaner. I guess this one kind of depends. At the res that I was in, they provided you with vacuum cleaners for each floor if you needed it. I ended up picking everything up with my fingers because the vacuum cleaner was of such bad quality and it was very old. So I guess it depends on the size of your room. The friend who offered this piece of information was at Campus Key, so obviously they don't get their rooms cleaned, they clean their own rooms. So I guess if you wanted to make that easier for yourself, then 100% invest in a little vacuum cleaner. The next three are super luxury items, I would say. The first is an egg boiler. You put a little bit of water in, and you put your egg in and it boils an egg for you. No pots, no stoves, nothing like that required. So I guess if you're in res and you're hella hungry and you like eggs, go buy yourself some eggs, go buy yourself a little egg boiler, and there you go. Lunch, breakfast, supper sorted. The next thing is a bit bigger. It's a snackwich machine, but I mean, who doesn't love a good toasted sami? So if you are looking for something else that's super quick and easy to whip up, then snackwidges are always great. And last but not least, something I got for Christmas and I'm so excited, hashtag adult life, is an air fryer. At home we use it every single day, so I'm taking one to my new flat in Cape Town and I am so excited. Oh my gosh, you just like, it takes the grease, the oil, all the cleaning out of using an oven. It's so cool. If you guys have the spare, I don't know, 2,000 rand, go and get yourself an air fryer. Another quick little tip that one of my friends actually mentioned was that you need to look at getting the right appliances for your place. My friend moved into a place with induction stoves, and I don't know if he bought the wrong pots and pans in the beginning, but just make sure that you're buying the right stuff for your place. You don't want to be wasting all that cash buying the wrong stuff, get there and then you can't cook, or you have the wrong extension cord. I don't know. Just make sure you know what you're buying, make sure you know what you need. Now we move on to the personal packing list. Woohoo! This is the stuff that is going to make you feel at home. These are a few things that I took to Varsity that made it easier, and a lot of my other friends took to Varsity that made it easier for them. The first one is lots of pictures from home. I remember taking a stack of Polaroids about this big. I'll see if I can add the photo in here of like how many photos I had in my room of all my friends and family. It was insane. I had matric dance photos, I had this photo, I had that photo. I literally had everything you could possibly imagine all over my room. I don't know if that made it better or worse, but I really enjoyed looking at them and it made my room look a bit more homey. My friend who moved to Ireland said that she took rooibos tea. As a South African, if you drink tea, rooibos is the bomb. So if you are moving overseas, or even if you just want to take a pack of rooibos tea for the first few weeks, maybe that reminds you of home. I know another friend said that she takes a whole lot of teas that she has at home from Bloem, and yeah, I feel like if you are tasting home, you'll definitely feel better. And on the tasting side of things, another friend of mine from Germany brought some recipes from her friends and family, some of those home cooked meal recipes, and whenever she's feeling homesick she whips some of that up. And I even thought about it, maybe you could get it in the handwriting of your loved one. I know I love looking at my grand's handwriting, it makes me feel like I'm right next to her. So yeah, bring a recipe in your loved one's handwriting. A lot of my friends also said they bring their favorite coffee. I don't know if that means they bring their own flippin' coffee machine with their own coffee beans and stuff, but on the rooibos tea and coffee front, I would also suggest bringing a big ass mug. I got a mug at the end of matric, my favorite mug ever, and it's quite sizable, and I really enjoyed drinking out of that after a long day of varsity, before my friends would knock on my door and be like, Jay, let's go partying again. The next thing made me feel like a 2-year-old when my mom suggested, but oh my gosh, did it save my life. My mom told me to take a teddy bear or something from home. So I have a little leopard that I've had since I was a baby. I suggest bringing a teddy bear, or like another friend of mine said she brings blankets from home that she loves. Lastly, another one of my friends mentioned that she did not have her therapist's number before she left. So if you guys go to therapy, make sure you have your therapist's number and make sure that they do online sessions. You don't want to be scrambling around in a bad headspace and not have your therapist's number, or at least a suggestion from your therapist of therapists that may be in your area, your varsity area. Keep in touch with them, ask if they do online sessions, and hopefully your mental health will flourish like you will at varsity. The next section of this video is must know tips that will make your varsity experience way easier, and stuff that I wish I knew before I went to varsity. So the first tip that I thought was so clever, and one of my friends actually mentioned it and I only worked it out after a little while, is that you should take two suitcases of 2 different sizes. This ensures that you don't overpack that one humongous bag, so you don't have to pay for those extra irritating airport costs. Also, the bigger bag will make sure that you have extra cupboard space. If you don't want to have your winter stuff hanging up through the whole year, you just put your winter stuff in your big bag, close it up, put it in your cupboard. Great, you have more cupboard space. You also have an option for going home for shorter or longer holidays. Longer holidays, you take your bigger suitcase. Shorter holidays, you take your smaller suitcase. I also worked out at varsity that you need a smaller suitcase in case you're staying over at a friend's house, or you're staying, I went to Stellenbosch, so you're staying over at a friend's house for 2 nights and you can't just pop back home to get extra clothes. I struggled a little bit because you can't take this massive suitcase that could fit me in for 2 nights in an Uber, you know. Pack 2 suitcases of 2 different sizes. The second thing that I learned, and was actually told before I went to varsity, was that I should be taking public transport or walking. It taught me a lot of street smarts. It showed me that public transport can be reliable. I know Maritzburg has 0 public transport that is reliable, and I also know that some places may not be safe to take public transport, i.e. Maritzburg. I would say if you can take public transport, it helps you learn the city, it helps you gain a bit more street smarts, and you also see a bit more of the city that you wouldn't have. I don't think I would have gone into the middle of town and found the coolest Levi's factory shop if I hadn't taken the bus. But yeah, it's a new experience. I have never had to take public transport before. I never took an Uber by myself before. So doing stuff like that really teaches you some street smarts. It teaches you where to go in the city, and I could navigate where I was based on this building or that building or this building that I had seen, and it was all because I took public transport. So that was I was told not to bring my car because I had to learn the city, otherwise I would have just sat on Google Maps 24/7. So yeah, take public transport if it's an option for you. Public transport is also way cheaper. So the next thing that I wish that I had knew was that social media offers you so much information about your varsity, i.e. you can get second-hand textbooks straight from your varsity's like meme Instagram page. I know that Stellenbosch has SU Just Kidding, and I've seen so many people trying to sell their textbooks, so many people trying to get flatmates, etc, find places to live, and I just think that's so cool. I paid a flippin' fortune for my textbooks. They were still second-hand and they were so expensive. So make sure that you're checking out your university's Instagram pages, both the meme pages and the official ones. I know that Vega has a Facebook group where you can sell secondhand textbooks, so make sure you look around for that. Do some extra digging. You'll save so much money and you'll have more for partying. Except be safe, wear a mask during Corona time. This seemed obvious to me, but obviously it's not obvious to everyone. You need 2 sets of bedding, because when you put your set of bedding in the wash, you need another one to sleep in that night. So I thought that was obvious, but a few people came up with that one for me and I was like, whoa, did you not know that? But that's why I'm here. You need 2 sets of bedding. I washed my bedding every 1 or 2 weeks depending on how it was looking. 2 sets of bedding, ladies and gentlemen, necessary. This is coming up again in the tips and tricks. You must know how many people send me this message. Carry a power bank wherever you go. I have this tiny one to fit in my backpack. It is going to save your life one day. Okay, please just believe me. It will save your life, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot stress this enough. Please buy yourself a power bank. Thank you very much. Another friend of mine said that connecting with a good community, his example was a good Christian community, made things so much easier for him. If a group of people fills your soul and makes you happy, find those people as fast as possible. Find those people, connect with them as fast as possible. Making friends at varsity is so hard because some people already have their little cliques. Others, they kind of look intimidating. Find your group of people, connect with them, and hopefully you'll have a great time. You need a flip file with all your important documents, your medical aid details, copies of your ID and passport. I know my friend's phone got stolen and her ID was in the back of it, and then she had to fly home. So luckily she had a copy of her ID that was certified and she could head home on the plane on that. Banking details, all that super important stuff that is so necessary nowadays, keep in a flip file. So 1, you don't have to keep messaging your parents and being like, Mom, can you please send me this again? And you can just sort yourself out. And 2, if something like your ID getting stolen happens, you have copies and you can get where you need to go, or you can go to Home Affairs and be like, hey, this is me. So I thought that was super clever and I highly suggest doing that. My last tip is that you will probably need... Sorry, my camera died. So as I was saying, budget is super important. You need to have at least a rough outline of the kind of stuff you're going to spend your money on. I know that I was super optimistic and I was like, no ways, I'm not going out partying. Just leave a little extra bandwidth for that stuff because peer pressure is a thing. And yeah, I spent all my money and ended up very hungry. So don't do what I did. That is not a good example of how to live your best varsity life. Setting your goals and sticking to them is so important and will help you to keep on track throughout your first, second, third, fourth year. Set your goals up front, make sure that they are something you really want to do, and stick to them. A friend of mine messaged me on Instagram and was like, listen, set your goals, then you'll be 100% because you'll know what you're aiming for, you'll know what you're working towards, and I 100% agree. Make sure you're setting yourself up for success, and hopefully this video helped you and you are going to have a fabulous first, second, third, millionth year of varsity. So for those of you who are still around, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it and I hope you enjoyed this video. Please make sure to give it a like, subscribe, comment, go follow me on Instagram, link in description, and I hope you have a fantastic day. My YouTube channel is taking a bit more of a student turn. I'm going to be focusing more on student life, budgeting, all the tips and tricks that I needed when I went to first year for my 6 weeks. So yeah, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video and have a fantastic day. I will see you next time.